Just last week, the media and the shill influencers were trying to do everything they could to save Snow White from being a complete and total flop in the box office, and they failed miserably. This movie is already a complete and total disaster, and it is so bad that now even the media has to admit.
It was supposed to be Disney's next big hit, but instead, Snow White 2025 is blowing up in real time, and the studio might be coming after its own stars for payback. Disney spent over $350 million on their live-action Snow White remake. 2 A-list stars, lavish sets, a modern twist on a classic fairy tale. It was supposed to be a guaranteed hit. Instead, it may be the biggest flop in Disney history. Now, rumors are exploding across Hollywood that Disney is trying to do something no one saw coming, demand a refund from its own stars, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot.
Crying on that stage.
When am I not crying in public? It's so upsetting.
Why were you crying?
Oh my gosh, I saw the well, we didn't even see. We didn't even see, but I saw the logo and I went, that's my name. Snow White's up there.
That's right. The studio that once banked everything on their star power is now allegedly blaming them for the film's complete collapse. Behind the scenes, production spiraled out of control. Costumes redesigned. Entire scenes reshot, budget skyrocketing by the day. But it wasn't just the money. It was the feud between Rachel and Gal that reportedly poisoned the entire set. This was supposed to be a fairy tale. Instead, it turned into a nightmare. What went so horribly wrong? Why is Disney so desperate to claw back its losses? And how did 2 of Hollywood's brightest names end up at the center of a disaster so big it could change the future of the studio? Let's break it down. Disney didn't just want to remake Snow White, they wanted to reinvent it. And they were willing to spend hundreds of millions to do it. When Rachel Zegler was announced as the new face of the iconic princess, the studio painted it as a bold move for a new era. Young, outspoken, and fresh off a critically acclaimed role in West Side Story, Rachel was supposed to be the perfect symbol of progress. Gal Gadot, already a global star from Wonder Woman, signed on as the evil queen.
You see yourself as the evil queen. You are not evil. You are not evil. You're a queen, but you're not evil. What was it like seeing yourself as the evil queen for the first time?
We did not see the clip.
Bringing blockbuster credibility to the project. But instead of excitement, Disney's casting choices triggered immediate backlash. It wasn't just about race or gender, it was about what the film represented. Rachel quickly made headlines for calling the 1937 original weird and outdated, claiming Snow White wouldn't be saved by the prince in her version.
You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
For many longtime Disney fans, it felt like she was mocking the very story that built the empire. Then came the dwarfs, or rather, the lack of them. Disney scrapped the traditional 7 dwarfs after pressure from activist actors and groups, replacing them with a bizarre group of magical companions that nobody asked for. What was once a beloved fairy tale was being rebranded, reimagined, and, according to some, completely erased. The studio didn't flinch. They doubled down on the vision, investing millions into Rachel's public image. Talk show appearances, press tours, and carefully curated social media content painted her as the future of Disney. But something didn't feel right. The tone was off. The buzz was strange. And underneath the glittering surface, the whispers had already started. People weren't just skeptical. They were angry. And they hadn't even seen the movie yet.
Oh my god, well, when you get to wear Sandy Powell, first of all, insane. And then you get to be lit by Mandy Walker, and Nadia Stacey designed your hair and makeup. It's like the most incredible thing in the world. And then all of a sudden you open your eyes and you watch the playback, which I never do.
What started as a bold reimagining quickly spiraled into a money pit. From the moment filming began, Snow White was in trouble. The script kept changing. Scenes were shot, scrapped, and reshot. Directors argued, timelines slipped, and no one seemed in control. Insiders say the budget exploded thanks to endless reshoots, costume redesigns, and last-minute set changes. Rachel and Gal reportedly clashed on key scenes, halting production over creative disagreements. And every delay meant another spike in costs. Test screenings made things worse. Audiences called the film flat, awkward, and emotionally empty. The central dynamic between Snow White and the evil queen, totally lifeless. And behind that lifeless energy, a growing feud that would soon boil over. What was supposed to be a powerful on-screen duo quickly turned into a behind-the-scenes Cold War. At first, Disney marketed Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot as a perfect match.
It does seem like the media have got the throw her under the bus green light, though, when we're posting things like this. We're slagging her off behind the scenes, we're dropping all the information, and then reminding you of, her attacking the majority of the population of America when she posted F the Orange Man.
Young energy meets established star power. But insiders say their relationship soured almost immediately. They weren't clashing in public, but on set, the tension was impossible to ignore. Rachel came in with strong opinions. She publicly criticized the original Snow White, calling it outdated and problematic. She said her version wouldn't need a prince and implied the 1937 classic sent the wrong message to girls. The comments went viral, and fans weren't happy. Neither, reportedly, was Gal. Known for her polished image and measured interviews, Gal allegedly found Rachel's outspokenness risky, and at times, reckless. It only got worse during filming. Sources say Rachel constantly pushed for script changes, while Gal pushed back. Scenes took longer to shoot, pauses became more frequent, and directors struggled to keep things moving. By the time the cast reached a key promotional photo shoot, the tension had boiled over.
This thing was a disaster. It only made $43 million at the box office, which is really bad for a movie like this. I don't have the numbers at the top of my head, but I want to tell you, Cinderella, which was a number of years ago, don't forget how much inflation has happened.
Rachel reportedly demanded multiple retakes to perfect the look. Gal, with a packed schedule, wasn't having it. What started as a simple disagreement over lighting turned into snide remarks and quiet walk-offs. Crew members described the vibe as ice cold. Even photographers noticed they refused to make eye contact between takes. By then, it was clear. Whatever spark Disney hoped would carry the film, it wasn't there. Not in the press, not in the footage, and definitely not between its two stars. As word of the behind-the-scenes drama leaked out, the internet pounced and it didn't hold back. Every trailer Disney released was immediately flooded with dislikes. Comment sections turned brutal. Fans weren't just skeptical, they were angry. Many accused Rachel of disrespecting Disney's legacy, calling her interviews arrogant and tone-deaf. Others mocked Gal for her seemingly distant attitude during press events, claiming the entire cast felt disconnected from the project. Then came the viral moment that sealed the public's perception. Rachel Zegler posted a video of herself giggling in an empty movie theater, watching Snow White alone. What she meant as playful turned into instant ammo. Memes exploded. Critics called it peak narcissism. Supporters tried to defend her, but the damage was done. The clip became symbolic. Snow White wasn't just flopping at the box office. It was being laughed at. Online forums tore the film apart. Some blamed the writing, others blamed the cast. But one theme kept repeating: this wasn't the Disney magic people grew up with. This was something else, something corporate, preachy, and out of touch. And while—
So did you go directly from West Side? Like, did you have to audition for Snow White, or like, oh, they saw you in West Side Story, they're like, you're Snow White?
West Side Story was kind of nowhere near coming out. We were about like 6 months away from release, and no footage had been seen.
Disney tried to control the narrative, it was too late. The court of public opinion had already ruled, and what came next hit even harder. Just when the drama surrounding Snow White seemed like it had peaked, a new rumor hit the industry, and it changed everything. Multiple sources began whispering that Disney, in an unprecedented move, was considering demanding a financial refund from its lead stars, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. Let that sink in. The same studio that poured hundreds of millions into casting, marketing, and promoting these two actresses now allegedly believes they helped destroy the very film they were hired to carry. The claim? That their off-screen behavior, public controversies, and icy on-screen chemistry didn't just damage the film, they helped sink it. And now, Disney reportedly wants them to shoulder part of the cost. Insiders say executives are combing through contracts, looking for anything that could justify a penalty. Morality clauses, image-based stipulations, promotional requirements. Anything that could be used to argue that Rachel and Gal's actions violated the spirit, or even the letter, of their agreements. And while no official legal action has been filed, the fact that the conversation is even happening is historic. This kind of move is unheard of. In Hollywood, studios eat their losses.
Like, it was a really, really, really bad flop. Now, things I do for you guys. I went to Snow White over the weekend. I took my kids. I'll tell you, I'm not sure who was more bored.
They don't publicly blame the stars, especially not A-listers. Doing so risks alienating agents, actors, and future collaborators. But Disney's in a different position now. With ballooning losses, PR disasters, and a brand image spiraling out of control, some believe the company is willing to break tradition just to send a message. If you hurt the product, you might pay the price. Others think it's bluff, an aggressive warning meant to silence Rachel and Gal from further stirring the pot. But whatever the motive, one thing is clear. The blame game has gone nuclear. And the fallout is about to get even worse. Once hailed as Disney's next big thing, Rachel Zegler is now facing a career crisis. The backlash hasn't just been about one film, it's become personal. Her interviews are dissected, her social media posts are mocked, even casual comments spark outrage. What started as bold confidence is now being labeled arrogance. And in the eyes of many fans, she didn't just tank a movie, she disrespected a legacy. Meanwhile, Gal Gadot isn't escaping the fallout either. While she's kept a cooler public image, her quiet approach during the Snow White press tour hasn't done much to win back audiences.
Snow White reviews are in. Snow White, how shall we say? Data points are in, because we now know that it was a flop.
Some fans now see her as complicit, too distant, too checked out. Reports of on-set clashes with Rachel have left her with a colder reputation, and critics say her performance as the evil queen lacks fire. The icy tension between the characters wasn't acting. It was real, and it shows. Disney's damage control hasn't helped. The red carpet premiere was quietly scaled back. Joint appearances between the stars were scrapped. Interviews became solo, heavily scripted, and full of awkward deflections. Even now, neither actress has directly addressed the refund rumor. Only vague, tightly worded statements that say everything and nothing at once. And the industry is watching. Casting directors, studios, producers. Everyone's asking the same question. Are these two now considered high-risk talent? Because in an industry where image is everything, this kind of baggage doesn't just disappear. The movie might fade, but the reputational scars could last for years. At this point, Snow White isn't just a failed film. It's become ground zero in the culture war, tearing through Hollywood.
Snow White, the toe-curlingly terrible live-action remake, has bombed so hard at the box office that even Paul Tassi had to admit it. It got $43 million, and there are very few ways to spin that.
Critics say Disney tried to rebrand a timeless fairy tale into a political statement, and failed miserably. Gone was the charm, the heart, the magic. In its place, a checklist of modern talking points that left longtime fans feeling alienated and insulted. The studio thought it was future-proofing the story. Instead, it lit a fuse. For many, Rachel Zegler's comments about rewriting the narrative, ditching the prince, and fixing the classic only poured gasoline on the fire. To audiences who grew up with the original, it came off as smug and dismissive, as if the entire history of Disney animation was being written off by someone who didn't respect it. Even Gal Gadot, typically beloved for her empowering roles, became part of the backlash. Some fans questioned whether her politically tinged interviews distracted from the film's core message. Others simply pointed to the flat chemistry and cold energy on screen and asked, was anyone here actually trying to make a great movie? Online, the phrase, "go woke, go broke," exploded. Memes mocked the new, diverse dwarfs. Fans dragged every trailer, and Disney's silence only added fuel to the narrative. What was meant to be a modern fairy tale had become a meme-worthy disaster.
This is one of the one days of the year, this and SantaCon, that I don't go out.
Oh, because you're scared? Oh.
Well, it gets very rowdy. I live in an area with a lot of bars and restaurants.
And a warning sign for the entire industry. Because at the end of the day, Snow White wasn't just a movie that failed. It was a movie that proved even the biggest brand in entertainment can misread the room and pay the price. Snow White was supposed to be Disney's next crown jewel, a bold, modern retelling of the film that built the empire. Instead, it became a cautionary tale of what happens when unchecked ambition, clashing egos, and cultural overreach collide. Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot were meant to lead a new era. Now, they're the faces of one of Disney's biggest embarrassments. The rumored refund demand, whether real or just whispered leverage, tells you everything you need to know. This wasn't just a flop. It was a meltdown. A high-stakes gamble that cost Disney its reputation, its audience's trust, and possibly hundreds of millions of dollars. But the bigger question isn't whether Snow White will break even on streaming, or if Disney will ever recoup its losses. The real question is what this means for the future of Hollywood. Because this wasn't just a bad film, it was a turning point. Can the industry learn from it? Or will this be just the first of many fairy tales that fall apart before the happy ending? Either way, the magic is gone. And Disney just got its harshest reality check yet.